All right, we're going live now. Um, let me get Unity up and running. Those of you watching this on YouTube or I guess Twitch VOD, welcome. And got a plan for today. Actually, we'll see if we're able to execute on it, but I definitely have a plan. Folks that are just rolling in over the next few minutes, they'll catch up with it. But for this VOD, basically what I'm hoping to do is get in here. I wanted to take a look at one or two more things in the editor. And then hopefully, if it works as well as it did this morning, I'll pop into our actual testing release client. And that will connect to our test server instead of our development server. That we are going to be getting our initial friends and family test members onto hopefully in the next day or two. Get that started, and then from there we'll be working towards a broader public development test in the hopefully in the first quarter of 2023, so in the new year. So that's the plan. Look at a few things in the editor real quick. Editor the current code got something going on with it. And so the NPCs will be a little jittery looking. I'll just warn you in advance. Hey hey Vumbra. I have not tried Dark and Darker yet. I think who was I watching play it a little bit? Maybe like Asmongold or someone. Hey Darkus. Let me know if you see anything funky going on with the green screen today. I try to adjust it a little bit. We'll see. Still, there's some weirdness every once in a while when the scene gets super dark. Okay, so let me hop back in. I'll hop back in real quick and see if I can wrap up the stuff I was poking at before the stream. Nice and hot. Log in. Oh man, Keith or whoever updated the logo back there. Good job. It looks so much better now that it's not all pixely. So you can see here we've got test server, development server. I want to be on development server for what I'm doing right now. Hop back in. This has been updated. I don't know if you saw this in the last stream or two. Funny, now that we've got the new shirt textures, these placeholder ones I made months ago look so bad because they don't have any actual texture on them. This is my Commando villain. I forget his name, but the bad guy from the movie Commando. Could have sworn he was wearing like chainmail, some like chainmail wife beater or something. He had the 80s stash. Hey Remez. Whoop. I'm going camping. And this is the guy I'll be on. Oh, look at me. Funny, the tiny little tattered cloak. I don't know if you saw it on Zukin's stream, but he put a little bit of the cloth stem on the shawl as well. Just a tiny bit. It looks pretty dope. Target said, love the tattered cloak. So we've got this one, and then we've got one that's like mid-length, and then we got the full length, all with the tattered effect. Which is, the alphas are causing a little wonkiness here, but you know what? It's not that bad. Do I have somebody with a mantle on? I don't think I do. Oh yeah, here it is. Just look at like the bottom edges. The rest of it works normally, but just check out the little bit on the bottom edges. Hey, Ishiwatara V Gates. Hey, Big Al. Cool. All right. Let me get back to business. Enter world. I have a Christmas hat again this year. I think I've had it a couple years now, but it's basically the Christmas hat from the Predator. My Christmas hat of invisibility. Christmas magic in effect. All right. Okay. So, right, I wound up running out of time because I got started on throwing a little population here in front of the Necromancer Shadow Knight area, the Concourse of Souls. So just putting a little bit of population in here as well. Little bit of a newbie yard. And there's one more thing that I wanted to put in before we went over and played on the actual test client. So, but if you notice, I don't know what changed. I think Ollie was messing with something, and now we've got some jittering going on here. So whatever it was, he'll have to address it when he's done with all of his meetings and work and stuff today. Poor Ollie. And then we'll be pushing this build, the fixed build, over to our test server. We've got a development server now and a test server. We'll push it over to the test server, so then we can play it over there. But in the meantime, everybody's just kind of bouncing right along. Cool. So let's do this really quickly. I just restarted my machine, so everything's a little. Excuse me. Gotta get everything back open again. Hey, Sikash. All right. Hey. Will make us. Ooh, that was interesting. So let me do something real quick while I'm in here, because it's all quiet right now. Options, volume. Oh, sorry to blow your ears out. There we go. Hey, Vagrant. Invuln. Everybody's just bouncing right along here. Yeah, these guys may be a little too much. Even the young ones are. What level did I make these guys? Let me check that real quick. Data. Crypt. Oh, they're supposed to be level 2, not level 5. That would explain why it's glowing red to me and terrifying. All right. Reload zone. Cool. Like, why is this little guy red? That does not make sense. And then And this is just going to be a real quick way of doing this. We're just going to throw it in here real quick though. So this is the area that we're in. That's one of the things you'll notice as you're running around here. We've got some bats. At the moment, it's just bats. The area is not lit yet, but once it's lit, it'll be a little bit more obvious to you. May make it with Pattis when he's back. He's been sick and had family stuff and school stuff going on. So, once he's back though, may look at getting some more lights in this area and maybe some lights thrown in some of these vendors shops and stuff. Lit and bussin'. He's got kids, so he probably understands what that means if we were to give him that direction. Oh yeah, can't see that because sphere of influence. But anyway, some of these areas that are now being used a little bit more, maybe get them lit up nice, kind of like we've got over here. But yeah, back to the mission at hand. We're gonna come here. Stable enable. We'll look at our little dudes. Let's make some trainees really quick for the daytime. So during the day, basically, I just threw in a little bit of a noob yard with a rare that can appear either here or in the other newbie yards, but I'm not going to show or discuss that. And put in some new NPCs, these little crypt garabs. You see the tiny ones and the regular sized ones. They're social and mean. We've got skeletons, rats, and bats here. Hey, porridge. Look at you. I'm doing good. How are you? I've got a jolly hat. You just can't see it. Okay, so let's quickly make a new NPC by finding an acceptable NPC and duping them. We'll go here. We'll look for Necropolis guys, these guards here, and what we'll do is we'll duplicate them with keys. We'll come in here. We'll say a trainee. Chaos Flux, thank you for the follow. Which font is that, Porch? We'll come through here. Instead of having them be level 60, we'll make them like level... Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be fun. We'll make them a little bit lower level now, just for giggles. What's the tool that I'm using? Oh yeah, fair point. I should probably change this. HID. Oh, the monsters and something one. The monsters and something. That was the other name we were gonna go with, but it was taken. Monsters and memories. The font is. I've got it somewhere buried on a desktop. It's an old font. We had a license. It's from that era, as you said, the D&D era. I think it's like not souvenir. Souvenir. Well, damn. Now I'm thinking about it. Let me see if I can find it on my desktop really quick over here. If I can't find it instantly, then I'll back off of this mission really quick. Nope, I don't see it up hand. I don't see the licensing document either. Huh. Something with an S and an O and a U. Okay. Hey, obvious. What does the tool you're using do? So this is our the relational database that we work in, that we make all of our content in. So, what you see in Unity right now, these little blobs and numbers, these are all visual visualizations of the data. And so it looks like this here, and then it looks like what you're just seeing in a database. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change this to concourse. Oh, wonder how many characters we can use here. This is a pretty long name, but we'll see. And then we'll bring, did we go down? Did we already hit level? Yep, level 10. And then the one thing I may do is just to make them sort of distinct is right here in our little bit of texturing and stuff. I will open another view into the tables and find a different NPC and just sort of copy their armor attribute. Why did we choose Unity for this project? Tabcray asked. At the time, it was the quickest for the 4 of us to get into and go with. We had no artists on the team. It was basically just design and tech. And Ali, who is our tech guy, and now we have what, 4 programmers on the team. But Ali was basically most comfortable when we were first looking at what engine to use with getting us up and running quickly in Unity. And since he is the man when it comes to tech, we were like, okay, cool. I was pretty happy to go either way on the design side. And I realized we were going to build a relational database structure and then integrate it into either tool set. Then it just kind of left art. And I know there are a number of other things that sort of differ between the various engines, but at the time, it was just quicker. And overall, it does what we needed to do. So I used Unreal the last time. I mean, aside from just some like hobby project, Unreal 3, like basically from 2006-ish to 2011 when I was working on DC Universe. Any reason why I do this, the database part of it, or make games, Porridge? Let me find this other NPC really quick. So, see. We'll do something like this, I think. See if this looks okay. Then delete the rest of this. Database. So the reason why we use a database instead of having data within like assets in the scene or within objects within Unity or anything like that is we wind up dealing with so many records so quickly when making an MMO. It's just I've seen, and I'm no expert in this area, but just based on my limited experience both as a designer and producer, who's only really worked on MMOs, I found like a pretty simple relational database structure is kind of easy for me to wrap my head around as someone making content, and it's easy for me to ramp some people up on because you kind of just learn the tables and the relationships. We can build front ends for this stuff that makes it a little bit easier in form view. Excuse me, and we've got some of that, but I just kind of still prefer to hop into the database. And you wind up dealing with so many records. Like right now, it was the 4 of us for the first year, and now we're at like 14 people with, 3-4-ish on design. But I'm in here in the NPC database or the NPCs table, and there's 899 NPCs that we're using at the moment, right? So if I come out of here and I clean this filter, right, it's just, we barely started making content, and there's close to 900 NPCs. And if I go to items, we just started making stuff. There's 1,200 records, and one of these is, I thought one of these was even higher. Yeah, like if we go into spawn points, over 1,000 spawn points in the various zones, right? So I'm just used to dealing with tons and tons and tons of data, and this has just kind of been in my limited experience, the easiest way to run through it. 335 dialogues, though some of them are just like hail and hello traveler. So and just think like we barely started. Is the game going to be online? The game is already online. You folks just can't access it yet, but it will be an online game. It will be a massively multiplayer online game. So let's see. What was I doing? Oh, I should spawn these guys. So I'll make a spawn group for them. Inserts. Sorry, sorry, Darkest. But that's clear, right? How do we handle anti-cheat? It depends on which cheat you're talking about. Hey, Subnatural. Hey, Gold Gloves. When entering spawn points, are you just going around an editor to fix coordinates and add them to the database? What happens when you adjust the axis on the terrain? If we've got to do a massive adjustment to the terrain, then that's something we would have to sort of discuss the impact on content. There are a number of different ways of dealing with it, I guess. Here, sec. We'll do 100% here. Boom. All right, so I'll show you how to add NPCs really quick. All right, so we're here. This was the last spawn point I added, so let's do 277 as a new one. It is going to be a box volume instead of a point. You can see 276 here is a volume. That's that blue line. The blue box here is saying NPCs of that type, basically what's associated with it via the spawn group, can spawn in here anywhere in that volume, and then they're given a command to wander around that volume. So whereas like this guy is a single spawn, and it is basically this dude right here who spawns, he goes here, he waits for a few seconds, he turns around, he goes home to a spawn point, waits for 60 seconds, and that's his life basically. So what we'll do here is we'll make this it's going to be a day-night spawn. So these guys only spawn during the day now, and then they disappear at night. We'll say that there's a count of, let's say 5. Yeah, let's go 3 for now. Be a little conservative. All right. It's a box, and then we're just going to create, if I do this in advance, I wonder if it'll show up. So we'll do 12, 12, 12, create a click here. All right, so now there's this box, which these trainees will spawn within. But we'll go over here, we'll click on it again. So I'm in a different tool now. The zone panel basically sets, exposes the data, brings the data up so I can see all of it. And then, I can pick which data set I want to load, etc. And then it allows me to set up and place a spawn. Once the spawn's in the world, I use the inspector like I would with anything else. And I come here, I click on it, and I've got these attributes. Is there a error correction if they randomly spawn within a stalagmite inside the boundary box, or do they just click through when they start pathing? I believe it's doing a quick check to basically see if there's terrain there, and it's spawning it in a valid space. I think it's checking against maybe the nav mesh. Any plans to add some undead guards minions to necro guilds similar to Kano Sewer Guild? Oh, that's a great idea. Having some little friendly skeletons and shit romping around inside the building here. Yeah, I haven't really added anything except for the merchants and some quest guys, trainers and stuff in here. So it's fairly empty. These guards that I just threw on here were because I was thinking about this area last night. And these trainees that I'm throwing in here strictly sort of like a flavor thing. So want to see how what they feel like. So I'm gonna make this box bigger. And we'll go 50, 50, 20. We'll pick it up a little bit. There we go. And maybe we'll make this. Is that the width? Okay, that is. So we'll do this at maybe like I don't know, let's make it apparent. Let's go 90. We'll move it over here. We'll rotate it so it's at a bit of an angle. Put it like so. We'll get the latest position. So because I've been moving it around, I hit from position, which pulls the latest coordinates into here. And then it turns this red again, or orange, red, orange, which means it needs to be saved. So now I've saved it. And what I can do is quickly come in here and reload the data in the zone and see if they appear and if they do what they're supposed to do. Oops. Reload zone. So what was your question that just got asked? Nope, I got that one. Skeletons are just more stuff for opposing factions to kill in the city. Yeah, the ones if you kill them inside the building, I guess they would be on the Concourse of Souls faction, and that would be a problem for them. Is this a Night Harbor faction? It is. I can't wait. Oh, zombie butlers and servants. Also a good idea, Dargus. I can't wait to... My USB cup warmer is coming in on the 30th, I think. Oh, Dargus. I think that was what Golden Gloves was just asking as well. So it looks like we're checking against the nav mesh here. The USB cup warmer. Yeah, I basically got just a little powered splitter that just is powering all this random shit that needs power that's not even in my, hooked to my computer. I've got two splitters. I've got one that's like a powered actual connected to the computer USB splitter, and then I've got another one that's just even more power, and then I got another one over there that's like, I've got a little end of the world emergency station with like walkie-talkies and ham radio and crazy like one of those lights that you can like in radios that you can power by hand, but also you can charge it. What else is there? Oh, battery packs. All that stuff is at my charging station. Technology these days. Yeah, I mean, I'm actually behind the curve. Like, these guys, so look at them. When they're not fighting, they just stand there. I think they should just be standing there like dummies. Oh, he's going back to where he spawned. Okay, because I forgot to do something. Come here. I'll come back in. And we'll load the data again. Oh, actually, if I was on scene view, I would have seen it. My bad. Anyways, it takes a second, or actually probably takes like 20 seconds to load the data, but There's a lot of data in the zone already. Would be cool for the Necros to have a Morgue ceremonial where they put incantations on corpses. Maybe they were delivered by body snatchers in the desert. They don't even, they've got a different source of bodies, but body snatchers in the desert will can also be a subplot. So just real quick, let me fix these guys while I'm thinking about it, and then we may get out of here in a second and check out the actual release client. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that worked. Concourse trainees, they need a command. So we're here, so I go to inspector, new command, and it will be wander in volume. And pause chance 1, pause duration 2 seconds. Pause variance 5. Honestly, I'm not sure what that 5 is gonna do. Save. Come back in here. Reload zone data, and these guys should be moving around then. Okay. And let me make myself invulnerable again. I think when I reload... Nope. Alright, it stayed. Cool. So, you guys can keep an eye on the screen. And, oh, these guys, they don't have weapons, so they look kind of janky. So, I should probably give them a little... Give them a weapons table. I'll associate some weapons with them in a second. And then that will wrap them up. Let's go look and see what they look like. Sorry, Chaos, I'm not ignoring you. I am just... Well, you've watched the VODs. You know how I am. Yeah, stop biting me. Okay, good. And I may give him a better name, or... Cool. Trainee. The problem is Concourse of Souls is such a long name that I don't want to call them a Concourse of Souls recruit or anything like that. So I may just put... Yeah, we'll figure it out later. We don't have to solve all the problems in the world instantly. Cool. All right. So a wretch, you would find a wretch somewhere else. Obvious. So USB cup warmer, you could also put a candle on it and make your room smell nice without lighting. I saw that on the promotional materials for it on Amazon. I didn't even realize you could do that sort of thing. And let's see. I may also make the area in which they work a little bit. We're good for now. We'll fix it later. So Chaos Flux says, I've been following this project for the past few months and have tried to watch all your VODs. This is obviously your version of EQ, my favorite MMO. Besides the game textures, how will it be different and or the same? Game looks very similar to EQ. Will the melee be more active or similar to EQ? Either way, big fan of the project. So we're pulling in ideas from a number of games from that era. Obviously, having worked on EQ and started on EQ, there's inspiration there, but and for a lot of the team as well. But there's also, I mean, some inspiration pulled from things like even more modern things like Turtle WoW is doing some interesting stuff, right? We look at like their camps and things that they've got going on in there, and just some of the experiments that they make. But the goal is to pull in some things that we think will give the game more of a sense of place, like proper integration of trade skills and housing from the early onset, while still maintaining a heavy focus on like the standard adventure sort of core loops and gameplay. For us, we want to go deeper on things like factions and having factions feel important and having a lot more opportunities to either to discover factions, to ramp up factions. Both within a city, there's a lot of sort of interfactional conflict, but then between the cities, between the races, being able to build factions with some of the monster races and be able to explore their stories a bit more. It's kind of like the example of the banker in Running Eye, or wouldn't it be cool if some place like Split Paw was an active Knoll city and you could faction up with them and get new quests and learn more about the world through them. Interaction with the world's a bit richer already. Just we've got a system. If you look here, it says look. That pun was not intended, but essentially this ties into our ability to kick off what we call mud actions. And so mud is just multi-user dungeons. So we're also pulling a fair bit from text-based adventure games like the old Infocom and other sort of text games from like pre-MMOs, and really looking at what were the people that were making the first MMOs sort of thinking and fixated on back then. What did they picture the game could look like, right? We really want this to feel like a classic, like fantasy painting, sort of in that style of like the big four D&D and fantasy painters from back in the day. And then also the gameplay, right? There's a lot of stuff that you could do in MUDs that you really don't do in MMOs anymore. And so this look command kicks things off. Like we can push a look to you. So you walk by something, say you see something shiny on the ground. And so like in our dungeon, we actually have this. So you can go into a room, you'll see a coin, you pick it up, right? But we can also push that to you, and then you can use a whole list of other commands to basically interact with the world. So I think we've got push, pull, pry, take, taste, smell, just like this long list of interactions that allow us pretty easily on the design side to create a deeper involvement with the world, because it requires you to, we can put requirements on that, where you have to have like certain objects in your possession or use certain objects, or essentially just basically take the gameplay that we liked and expand on it, and maybe have it live up more to the kind of visual mud fantasy that people were thinking of back in the day. Gameplay is still, we call it sandwichy. We want sandwichy gameplay, which is if I'm holding a coffee or a beer or a sandwich with one hand, I'm not going to like immediately be screwed because I've got to be so on top of rotations and all this other bullshit. It's slower, more strategic, or at least more tactical combat. So yeah, I mean, there are a number of things, but that's my sort of rambly quick take on it. That's not that quick. Organic Cacao, thank you very much for spreading the word and subscribing on YouTube and to the mailing list, which let me break out my actual buttons for that. Our mailing list is here. We're at like 2,300. It's important for us to get people on there because then we can see, oh shit, there are 3,000 people that are interested in the game. Here's our Discord if you're not there already. Mirix, thank you for 4 months. Tomoka, thank you for the Prime sub. DDJ7777, thank you for Prime as well. All of that is super appreciated. So yeah, if you haven't seen the game recently, or if you're completely new to the game, what I'll try to do right now is, I'll run up here. Actually, you know what? I'll just camp out here because I want to probably come back and work on this a little bit more. I like the guys here. So let's quit out here. Let me see if I can get the release client going so you can see that. So all of this is in the editor. And let me see. Let me see if we can get this going. It's worked really well for me the last few days, so since I'm streaming, it will probably not work. Hey, Dark Inside, good morning. Yeah, Ishiwatari. All right, so this is doing this. So what I'll do is come here. Nope. Close this. Boom. Let me reload it. So back to gameplay. Do you plan to for melee to have more action skills or the usual kick, bash, taunt skills? So it's going to be an expansion on kick, bash, taunt with I think more opportunity for kind of like to be a bit of a playmaker. There's probably going to be a little bit more, but again, we're trying to not make it something where you're constantly managing a rotation with most classes. But that's one of those areas where we'll be adding stuff and playing it and seeing how it feels, and then we'll get feedback and add or subtract or do whatever as needed. I missed your question above, Subnatural. Do you see the look button expanding into look, smell, taste, touch? I know the mud commands are in, but has there been any discussion about how to display the feedback to user other than text there? So the interaction is going to be text based. The triggering of the interaction, you can set macros up and just go from there. We may have a bank with them that you can pull out and flip to, or little UI element or whatever. But all of the kind of like input and response feedback will all be in text. So later on, when we're spending more time with the UI, we're really gonna, because all of our quest text is in the chat box, these interactions are in chat box, etc. We'll be spending some time making it as accessible and sort of nice feeling as possible with great defaults. So as I was mentioning at the beginning of the stream, but some of you may not have been in here yet, we've got 2 servers up now. Development server is where I was just working. Test server is where we're essentially just taking development and pushing it over every once in a while. This is in anticipation for getting friends and family in for our initial just kind of like poke at things, play tests. And then the goal is to do enough of that to feel comfortable running like a public play test early next year. And keep in mind, when we talk about the state of the game, when we talk about play tests, etc., we want to reiterate how early we are. We just happen to be happy with doing our work in public and getting folks in to check things out and stuff earlier rather than later. Whitechapel said, playing a high-end melee class on P99 is way different than normal gameplay because of all the clickies that create playmaker opportunities. You can capture that gameplay but extend it to the other 95% of players. It's a win. Whitechapel, so Nick's been heading up the ability and class design stuff, and I don't know, if you play high ends on P99, then you either play with him or your guild's been mad at his guild or whatever. So he plays a shit ton, and that's one of those things where I think that type of like thinking is clearly there and like carrying over and bleeding in. Hey, John. So let's go to test server and see if we can connect. I've got one character on test server. Cool. Let's hop on and see what it looks like. Oh, you were in SEAL team? I'm trying to remember. I'm not going to dox him. I'm not going to say where he is. I guess he's probably said who he plays with, but I'm not going to say it. Hey, Sethrick. Hey, J Bombo. J Bombo, Bombo, da 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 da. Yeah, you got your own song today. There you go, buddy. All right, so let me. Oh, I turned it down because I was in a call earlier today. So let me turn the volume back up. All right, so this is my most recent test character on our test server. Already more sound sliders than some AAA games. Yeah, look at us. We've got people that are heavily invested in sound. This track already puts you into a gameplay trance. It is a magical bit of music from Robert. Cool. So it is dark because I do not have a torch yet. What do I have? I've got some stuff to sell. Let me go sell and get a bag. Thanks, Sethrick. So yeah, this you'll notice my frame rate in here is much better than it's been if you've been watching the last few weeks worth of streams. But again, this is me playing in the actual release client rather than the editor. I've got the editor open in the background, so can you see shooting stars if you're looking long enough? Not yet. Let me go ahead and rebuff myself. Chaos Flux says, I think the biggest issues I've had with MMOs is the leveling treadmill. I think P99 works so well because there are items including clickies that are usable throughout the expansions. Newer MMOs make gear from previous pretty much useless. How will gear bloat be handled with M&M? Also, please never take us to the moon on future content. Cannot make any promises that you won't go into space at some point in the future. Just because.
I did want to give thanks to Ali for helping me through my video game dev class this semester. Part of my gratitude for completing my degree goes to the M&M team. Thank you.
Nice. Make sure you hit him up in Discord, just in case he misses this. I'll try to mention as well, but make sure you hit him up in Discord. That's very, very kind of you. That's badass. So Spelljammer and stuff like that was always so cool. I think space could be really interesting if done properly, but it's not anytime. It's not in our immediate future. We do have 3 moons. So as far as gear bloat goes, I mean, I think the question is less about gear bloat and just more about how we handle sort of defining our headroom, how we dole out that headroom over time, and then how much we try to make up for mudflation by just sort of compressing everything and resetting folks, as opposed to letting them maintain that value for longer periods of time. And then the other thing too is, I think one of the things that we were talking about in the last few weeks is there's something about the finite nature of P99 that's interesting as well. And so, you know, after a few years, you kind of hit this point where the cap is the cap, right? And there's no like clear, simple answer derived from that, but there is something to be discussed and played around with when we're sort of projecting out our reward schedule and talking about progression. Oh, Helkiana, thank you for the raid. Oh man, I always forget that my puppy Ziggy's image pops up when there's a raid. Oh, rest in peace, Ziggy. Best pupper ever. So hey, thank you for the raid. Welcome to your peoples. Doing pretty good. How about you? I know how it is when you wrap up a stream and you raid someone. You're kind of like, I am ready to go stretch my legs or do whatever. So, and I also know when people show up, you just probably had hours of fun checking out a rad stream. Though I'm not sure what you're doing on your stream. Feel free to let us know. Checking out a rad stream, and so those of you that only want to stay for a minute and bounce, don't worry, there are no hard feelings. If you're absolutely new to what we're doing here, this is our website. We're making a game called Monsters and Memories. It's very much an old school style MMORPG made by a small team. If you go to our YouTube page, we've got a video that's like a quick kind of run through of from the very first moment we hopped into the editor 2 years ago through kind of where we're at now. A little retrospective. And this is our Discord. Chaos Flux, yep. Clickies are confirmed for sure. We're fans of clickies. You're looking at a gray boxed area here. Oh, I just realized I don't think this account is even flagged as a GM. So I can't cheat at all. I was about to fly up and show you the harbor area in all of its glory, but I can't. I need to get this account flagged. I am just a regular player like everybody else when I'm on this client. Yeah, I can't cheat no matter how much I'd like to. So I was just running down here for the new folk. Our environment's big enough now that it's kind of hard to show you everything in a nutshell. So, you know, like there's no quick way to summarize all of our zones and stuff at this point. So if you're looking at it and you're like, oh, I'd like to learn more about the game, definitely check out the website. Check out the updates section because every update's got art and screenshots, you know, concepts and things that you may not see anywhere else. Notice graphics for sky and water looks much better than the rest of the assets. They're different, just a different style, kind of intentionally. Well, the sky is actually the same style. It just looks awesome. All of the stuff that you're looking at in terms of the rest of the textures are all placeholder. So even this rock texture, this wood texture, all of this stuff, it's all just kind of placeholder and thrown on there a bit. This tree is not placeholder. We're iterating through character textures and improving them at the moment. So there's been a lot of discussion there. Let me see if I can find you like the image where we're doing the comparisons. Here, check it out. So this is currently what is in game. This was the first iteration a couple, like a year and a half or 2 years ago. The second iteration, the base that Goblin did when he first got on the team, and us playing around with whether or not we can get the facial hair and stuff to look right. But basically, we're getting the textures to like this resolution right now. So it'll be less sort of RuneScape Zuckerberg and more hand-painted characters soon. Have we thought about switching to low-res water to match the design? Not really. For whatever reason, like seeing the crazy water shader, it's been okay for us. It's one of those things where it's kind of like, it's our game, so if things are inconsistent and we're happy with it, then that's fine. So the water came to us. The water is actually one of the few things in the entire game that was an asset that we just bought. Because when John joined the team, John's one of our programmers, and he's worked on like 3 or 4 indie games now, and his last 2 indie games have been sea-based, like tons of water games. So no, not John. If he's in here, you'll find him as Pilgrim. Is it Pilgrim 1? I always just say Pilgrim, and then I think John. So yeah, the thing with water though is it's just got to be water, right? Like water's got one job really. It's to be water. So, and it's just kind of fun having this crazy water here. And then going with like the more hand-painted textures for everything else. Wonder if there's a sneaky way up here. Yeah, the sunrise and sunset that's basically all us. That's just us playing around in Unity with the various light settings, etc. Now the suns and the moons, there's the Pilgrim Run. That's John. We were just talking about how we arrived at the water that you brought us. There he is. Oh, I can't get up there either. Interesting. Okay. So I'm like on a little sneak mission here. Oh man, this is where the water ends. Like we've got this bug where the volume ends right here. So we'll eventually have to fix that. Eventually. Yeah, I live here now. Oh, I couldn't. Cool. I was like, I wasn't sure if I was going to get trapped there, to be honest. Because again, without a GM client. Is the shader actually moving verts? How tessellated is that plane? As far as I know, it's not. But John, the Pilgrim one, if you'd like to answer that highly technical and sophisticated question that I can't answer, then you'll get a better response than what I could give you. The water volume ending, but looking like you're underwater still looks like it could make for some interesting underwater stuff. Or other hackery, right? Just because it's water doesn't mean we have to use it for water. One of the first things I did with our water volumes when we put them in year 1 was make kind of like Shreza Temple style vacuum tubes where you could swim up to like another level. And that was in the old Mage Guild. Cool. Let me actually go about my business of selling some stuff and buying a pack. Are the water textures going to stay, or are they going to get the hand-painted treatment, Zoidberg asked. I think they're going to stay. We may look at tweaking some of the values to make them feel a little bit more hand-painted, but so far, haven't found like a big reason to change them. Like so far they haven't felt horribly out of place to us. But if you guys feel they're horribly out of place, then you can always let us know, and we will consider your feedback. We'll put it in the file. Hey, Justin Beer, what's going on, buddy? What's up, Keith? So I have my Christmas hat because it's the season to do that, right? The problem is my Christmas hat is it's green. So yeah. Merry Christmas, Justin. Let me sell some stuff. Those of you that are just rolling in, I am not playing in the editor today. Zoidberg, yeah, it's absolutely a stark difference. But we'll see. If we can tweak it and it looks better, great. If that's as good as it gets, oops, then I don't know. My feelings aren't super hurt, I guess. And I try to be a purist on that type of thing. Looks like I just have a pile of snow on my head. Will it be better if I take the beanie off? Probably not. The sea and the sky are super high res. I personally think it works. Well, it's funny because the sky is really just, it's the sky that Ollie painted. Like made. I don't know, painted's probably not absolutely correct. Alright, so what do I need to do? I've got 12 silver. I forget, can I afford any sort of bag? And that is a very, very hard no. Good. Make me work for it. What else do I need to... What else do I have to sell? I've added a butcher somewhere over here, but I don't know if he's in this build. Cloth armor. Can I sell you my scrap? Let's see. Nope. Okay. Cool. I wasn't sure if they're meant to be or made to be sold. I guess in theory we can make them accept cloth scraps, but and so I'm trying to think of where I put that butcher, but again, I don't think he's in yet. Today's your last day, workday of the year. You've got no motivation to get started. Come on, Zoidberg, you can do it. It's only one more day. I'm going to sell these critter bits. And then go back to work killing things. How many people are off? How many people are already done for the year? Show of hands. Oh, that's fur. He doesn't want that. Pretty sure he doesn't want that either. Cool. What else we got for him? Snake eyes. I'm sure he's got a recipe for that. Rat ears. Delicious. Rat foots. Great when they're pickled. Rev Chumley says he was done on Friday. Nice. Enjoy your time off. Mick's got 2 more work days to go. Zoidberg is off on the 21st through the 2nd. Very nice. Subnatural's wrapping up work today. Everyone's out of office. You know what? I always felt like if I could save a few of my holidays by working a little bit closer to the end of the year when everybody's out of office and I don't have to deal with them, then it's kind of like a double win. I can use that vacation later and I still don't have to see a lot of people. Especially in Europe. These Europeans, man, they like to take some vacation. You call that this time Think Week? It's very... I'm sure there's no meetings, right? Fantastic. Who else? Squishy Mustard says, I get pretty much no time off. I'm sorry. John says, not me. I will never stop working on testing M&M. Soon. One more day for Whitechapel. Nothing left to do. Just sit here. Wait, no. Trainer, not supplies. You want any of this stuff? Oh wait, merchant does not want that item. Does not want that item. All right. Ishvatari, you know it's true. You know I'm not making up any stories. Trying to remember which one of these nerds will actually buy this. To be honest, I'd probably work through most of it as well, but then you have kids in daycare and you need any days you can. Yeah, fair enough. Makes sense. DDJ says, my European counterparts are always on some sort of holiday. It's true. I mean, I've lived and worked in Europe for 7 years now. Not being critical. I mean, you know, good for them for actually getting time off. And good for them for taking time off. Chaos Flux asked, I just hope the armor's weapons look good and very noticeable when you have a rare item, which leads me to another question. Will there be level requirements for gear? Twinking makes replay so much better. We're big fans of twinking. Do I got anything else? Will he buy Classic Crap? Does anybody buy him? Nope. Okay, good. I need to complete the recipe for making torches. Here, I'll buy a torch just so you can see one in action. Oops. But they burn out over time, so I'm not going to use it yet. I'll buy two. How about that? Splurge, even though it's eating up space. I guess I could cheat. I know how to get a free backpack from this guy's. Subnatural says, I think you guys are crushing it on community engagement. Ever given thought to crowdsourcing some early quests from a community? Fill out an Excel sheet and that can be imported to the DB. Also, could be a good trial run of the supporting documentation. I you know, appreciate the offer and sentiment and the compliment. I think I'm more of a fan of us just making sure that we've got really well-defined tools. Our tools do what they need to do. We've got a nice foundation of lore, and then as we need more assistance on the design side, we just, you know, bring people in as needed. DJ C. Javia? Thank you for the follow. 16 minutes ago. Sorry I didn't respond quicker. Torches. Hey, what's up, Ollie? I can't scroll all the way back up, but here, no, actually I've got it right over here. J Bombo said 21 minutes ago, I wanted to give thanks to Ollie for helping me through my video game dev class this semester. Part of my gratitude for completing my degree goes to the M&M team. Thank you. And there you go, Ollie. Some feel-good moment. Ollie said, congrats on the completion. Absolutely. DJ C Tavia. Can I just say DJ? DJ, thank you very much. So cool. Ollie, I am not flagged as a GM on this account. So I can't cheat in the slightest, which is kind of fun actually. I was telling everybody, and those of you that have just rolled in, I am playing on our actual, this is the client that when we do playtests with external folks, this is the client that you will be using. Notice it runs a lot better than when I'm playing in editor. So here, let me use a torch, those of you that haven't seen them in action. Got a little bit of a light source now for a limited period until it runs out. Ollie, the jitter and stuff. Can you use 2 torches for more light? I've never even thought about that, but I don't think that's gonna work. No. We've nerfed that already. Thanks, DJ. So FPS in here is good. In the editor, I was just doing some stuff before we hopped in here. You know how there's like the little bounce that Nick was mentioning every like second or something like that? The NPCs now look like they're in a lowrider competition. They're just kind of... Everybody's just walking around, getting ready for the holidays. I don't know what happened because they went from just like bouncing once this morning to now they're just... Had it so close to green screen territory. Yeah, I mean, the only reason why you can see it at all now, I think, is because it's so dark in the scene. And my green screen's not very expertly set up. Let me go ahead and put this torch away because I don't really need it. And I might aggro that Ashira warrior real quick and drag him to the guards just so I can stop worrying about him. Oh, sorry. I missed your lantern question earlier ago. I saw it, it registered, and then I started talking to Ollie. Torches are a great quick light source for newbies. You expect the refillable lantern with, I'm assuming, much higher fuel capacity to be 100% confirmed for high level players. It's in game. It's not... I didn't look at the price. I don't know if it's priced at a point yet where it's going to be something that a newbie can't get a hold of, but we'll be working on the balance of things like that as we go. In terms of brightness, it should be. So Again, we've just kind of put the initial ones in to get a feel for, you know, or get the systems working. And then we'll be tweaking and playing around from there. You may even be able to find super interesting, secret, rare torches of different colors and stuff. Not saying where you might find one of those. Not saying that anything like that is in the game. It's actually not yet. But the NPCs that will drop it are. You know. But again, it's going to be an interesting mix. But, you know, pre-release, we can do some wild shit and then rein it back in. But it's going to be an interesting mix of making sure that there's some fun, flavorful stuff that you can see and access. But then also making sure we don't dole out all of the good stuff too quickly. Chaos Flux, I'm not sure if you're seeing an actual regen tick or if you're just seeing the UI be quirky. Yeah, BDC Retro. And that's what I mean, like finding the right balance on that type of, that sense of progression. In this case, sort of utilitarian or horizontal progression, will be something that, as we throw stuff in, it will very likely not be balanced perfectly in that sense initially. But that's what playtests are for, and that's what us just spending more and more time in and looking at things and looking at the totality of what we get in. Ollie said, no, they don't have out of combat regen right now. So if they don't have out of combat regen, I'm assuming they don't have in combat regen either. But I definitely saw what you mentioned. Do you plan to implement some sort of party-based loot distribution system? Mick, no plans for that. Ollie said, I mean, they do regen. They regen, but they don't have out of combat regen. Okay, so Ollie said, avoiding that warrior. Ollie said they do have a consistent regen rate. But that's always the case. It's not specifically like an out of combat regen at the moment. So what you saw earlier was correct. Chaos. Auto coin split though, right? Do we have auto split in? I haven't really paid attention the last time I was grouped with somebody. Let me see. And do we have the ability to turn it off? Help. Actions. Party. I said, I'm pretty sure I've implemented auto split. So maybe it's in and just there by default, or maybe it's In and not exposed. Ollie said his daughter's attacking him with a plastic knife. Well, I need you to fight back, Ollie. You're very important to the project. Don't let her take you. So, these Ashira out here are ganking all of the undead. Did it? Wait, did it not mute? If that didn't mute, I swear I saw the mute. It did? Okay, cool. I was like, what? I'm looking for skeletons. Oh, I see some glittering eyes, but I also see some Ashira up there, which makes me believe the skeleton is about to get owned by this Ashira before I can even get up there and get him. Yep, he's done for. He's there. There's another one. P99 Green had a gnome race over the weekend. The gnome races are great. Was it another like PvP one? Oh man, this guy is just full of bone chips. And the residue that I need. PvP enabled, but you're not allowed to PvP? Oh, that's a bummer. No, those skeletons back there. Let me head that. Oh, Jackal Pup, leave me alone. They are not skeletons. Those are more Ashira. I think it's time to drag some of these Ashira to the guards. What is the red glowing structure in front of me? Up here? Those are some torches. Let's run up there. You can check it out. There's a dungeon hidden up here, but I'm not going to go super deep into it because it's scary. So let's head up there. Barabakins, thank you for the follow. Wow. Yep, so let's go down here. Those of you that came in a bit later, doing a little bit of population work in the editor and showing that off. So was answering a few questions about our tooling, and I think I've covered a lot of that in previous streams though. So if you've been around for a bit, you don't necessarily need to check the VOD, but so they've uncovered this wonderful dungeon. Oh, those of you that haven't been here in a bit, Spellbook is now an item. And you can wear it on in your various waist slots, which is kind of fashionable. Plus, it saves you a slot early on when they're pretty important. And you can see, essentially, this is Spellbook 1. Innate abilities, skills. And then if it's not equipped properly, like when we die, then it's just not accessible. So continue iterating on that, but it's fun that we got that in now. Spellbook belt buckle. Let's see. Ah, yeah, we can move it over a little bit. Put a map of Texas on it. Thank you, Vagrant. Yeah, I was showing off some of the other characters that I have when I was. Yeah, I think I was still in the editor at the time, but yeah, we've got some fun stuff going in. The 1999 zoning time simulator is kicked in. We've set this up so that you can go and grab a drink, run to the restroom really quick, just like back in the day, when you're safely between zone lines. I think the 3 belt buckle slots really tied the adventure together. Oh man, I haven't watched that movie in a while. Don't go there, it's dangerous. Well, that's like your opinion, man. I mean, I'm unable to cheat on this client, so I'm really not going to go too far in here, to be honest with you. Because there's no point in doing a corpse run at the moment when I could be out there grinding some fat XP. Chaos said, not a fan of the WoW character body. Character models are still in progress too. I know the faces are being worked on bodies too. Probably not a huge difference. So if you don't like the style, then it may not be the style for you. Kalo97, thank you for the follow. Our primary focus is basically just developing a style that we like. Oh shit. Okay. Oh, that's not going to be good for me. Ow. Only yellow to me. Oh, okay. Yeah, the characters are going to stay as chunky as we can keep them and have them. Basically, we want them to have a really old school look, and then up-res the textures as much as possible, do some attachments and stuff that make them look even cooler, and then, yeah. They're as you can see, proportions and stuff like that, they're not as stylized as like WoW Classic. They're more in line with EQ, Daok, and other games. So we're not going for a heavy stylization. We're looking for something that's like fantastic and sort of real, but still clearly stylized, because we don't want to go for like a hand-painted fantastic realism. Is what we're after more than like actual realism. So we want to keep things relatively chunky, charming, a little bit cartoony, but more in the sort of like something you would see in a painting in like a tabletop manual or something like that, versus very real, very stylized, somewhere in the middle. You think the arms are too big? They actually seem pretty skinny to me. Oh god, I don't want to deal with this guy. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if that becomes sort of a thing that the art guys hone in on and they want to tweak it, then they can definitely feel free. Like I said, don't really bother me. One of the reasons why some of the proportions are going to be bigger on something like that is because because the armor is going to be painted on it for the most part, right? Armor's not. There are some pieces that will be added as new models, but for the most part, we're painting a lot of stuff on. So it's got to kind of flex between being bare and actually being different types of armor. Like if I go up to these guards in a second, you'll, oh shit. Let me see if I can. Keith said, I saw Erkenstaff working on some Ashir animations. They're looking nice. Yeah, the GIFs that I've seen are really cool. Man, I feel like maybe I'm a little OP at the moment. Or, no, actually, I think just mobs are a little weak at the moment. Hey, Piflet. He looks like someone who skips leg days, only focuses on arms. I feel attacked. That's the same model? Yeah, it's the exact same model. We're literally looking at the same model with two different textures on it. Meowletary said, anybody remember the human males in Terra? They were like 90% torso. We have a good concept for a a centaur gnome that is that's got considerable torso, given the fact that he's a gnome, but then the rest of him's a horse. Thank you, Piflet. Yeah, John, the Nomatar. Was it you or somebody else that suggested that? Oh, like, concepted it? I forget where that came from. A gnome fainting goat hybrid? That sounds like a player race that we should focus on. You're gonna get Goblin to draw a gnome centaur, but different than what came out. Nicodemus did a wonderful like camel centaur. If you go through the community, like I forget what it's called, the community submissions in our Discord. Yeah, so it's gonna be fun seeing these guys animated. Wonder if I can take an even con right now. Yeah. Easy peasy. Cost me some mana, but... Man, I really had to stab the crap out of that one. Cool. Let me see if I can find one that's holding something expensive. Yep. Let's do Fire Beetle next. Oh, what did someone drop? Probably a Death Shroud. Yeah. Those need to be no drop at some point. Alright, let me try one of these beetles really fast. This character is a necromancer, DDJ. I don't have a pet yet. But I've got cash, so let me... Ooh. Let me run and buy my pet in a sec. Honestly, I don't know what's taking me so long. These are social. Looks ripped for a necro? Yeah, well... He's got necro legs and a fighter upper body, according to Chaos. Will I ever be doing a second Jeremiah Smith interview? Interesting question. So Desperate, hadn't really thought about it. Was there something you wanted to ask him? I wish there would have been more Dayak people in when he was on for the interview or discussion or whatever we want to label it. Does a cloth robe drop in the newbie yard yet off skeletons or Ashira? Yeah, you can get a cloth pretty much everything. Though boots are like a low drop rate, so I was actually pretty amazed that I got shoes so quickly. Oh, you guys talked about doing a second one in the first interview. I'd love to ask him lots of questions. I have to ping him and see. Maybe I should do some more interviews in the coming year. Who says Tome Bros can't hit the gym? Mad Looter, that's a very fair point. So in theory, there may be potentially a new interview happening before the end of the year, but we'll see. Somebody that I've been wanting to interview for a while. One of my former coworkers that was in customer service with me, and got on the team around the same time. Thanks, Fortress. I probably should have sold before I came up here, but well, the reagent vendor in here may buy these bat wings from me. Oh, why do I have my torch out? I'm just wasting it. I don't need that. That's a quest item. Not you, Buckmar. Cold protection, invisibility. Visibility versus undead. Lift bones. Bye. I think he'll buy whatever reagents. Cool. I think I may actually sell these bone chips as well. No, because then I will wind up not finding another skeleton, so. Okay, let's just do this real quick. Book. Here. Oops. I always want to open that book for some damn reason. Hey, Aaron Gunn. Fortress said was watching the Michelle Butler one and had to legit sit and think if they ever called my house or not. I think it was AOL, not EQ, that called when I got a 7-day suspension though. I don't know that they would have called you for a suspension. Neat kit spell would be to cast a flame instead of use oil on the torch. Usable on party members if you lose your light at the bottom of the dungeon. Use the spell as your fuel source. Oh, my fire beetle eye ran out of fuel as well. Crap. It winds up being a pretty powerful spell, like summoning light stones, casting whatever globe of light on somebody, all that stuff. So it's gonna be fun to get those balanced in a way where they feel like they're not just invalidating light sources, but they will actually have value this time around. So that's kind of cool. Invisibility and visibility versus undead. That's tight. Noxious Deluge. Get that going. Draw strength. My inventory is full, so book. I like that I can keep these all open. Draw strength, locate corpse. Cool. Chaos Flux says, yeah, Concourse of Souls is kind of wordy. Nothing wrong with Hall of Souls. Nothing wrong with it, just not the choice we made. Library of Death? That would be a place within the Concourse of Souls. Let's be honest, after a while it'll just be COS. Yeah, the wordiness is fine for the fiction because we'll as players abbreviate everything, right? But I don't want to like call somebody a COS trainee or whatever. Noxious Deluge. Let's get that mimmed. And just for giggles, we'll go ahead and get invisibility and invisibility versus undead mimmed as well. Just to make it all the sadder when I actually get killed by something in a bit and have to remem everything. So yeah, for those of you that may have just come in recently, the big deal today is that I'm typically, if you've watched pretty much any of the streams, to be honest, I run exclusively out of the editor. Oops. Right, so I'm almost always playing in Unity. And today I used our launcher and patcher to hop into the actual release client. So runs a bit smoother, looks a little bit better. Like for whatever reason, it just feels a little bit crispier. The lighting feels a little bit better in it. And yeah, so kind of nice to have the extra frame rate, have it look a little bit better, and also just kind of, yeah, there's something like Rev Tremley just said. I love it every time you say release client. Yeah, I mean this is the game as the game, so it's also nice for new people not to freak out over editor performance. Yeah, I noticed the last couple of days I've had to explain that a couple times because we've got to go back through and optimize a little bit. It's finally taken its toll on the editor. Is that Yunmi? LOL? Or is it Yunmi lol? Tell me how to pronounce it. Dear farmer, put some damn clothes on, son. Let's see. I'll be honest, it's what I look like when I'm in the garden as well. Except my forearms are not. I almost have as big of forearms. When I played EQ Classic, Subnatural said, I always wanted the guard armor from Kanos, but it wasn't droppable item other than a shield. Always decked out my tune to look like a Stormwind guard, and wow. If we see loot on a guard, will it drop? It's kind of a mix at the moment. So this stuff is just driven by the database. The shield and items and stuff are actually droppable. In the future, we will likely provide more options on that front. Because I think that being able to do that is pretty awesome as well. Though we've joked a little bit about some of that stuff. If the wrong people's wearing it and the guards see it, maybe there's a faction hit. But, yeah, just walk up that bench, tough guy. Where are you going, actually? Oh, there's been some weird stuff going on with pathing. I bet he's about to go this way. Something, oh, I know what it is. I think something changed with thresholds. Like, whenever the last nav mesh was built, I've got the feeling that some of these doors are considered too narrow. And so now, because I noticed that there's a tavern right by where the bard's stage is. And I've got at night when the bards are on stage, I've got some people that will appear and sort of different audience members, and one of them will walk in and out of the tavern because he's, you know, watching a show and getting drunk. But he actually does not walk in and out of the tavern. He just kind of like ignores the door and pops through a wall. So I think that's it. I'll have to make a note to see about getting the nav mesh adjusted. Okay, I said something about looking forward to throw money at it playtest. When can we play? It gets asked a lot. We're not going to charge for playtests. So we're starting hopefully to get some friends and family folks in using this client this week. And then we'll use whatever we learn from issues they run into, etc. To help us work towards getting some public development play tests starting early next year, so that we can do some things like just see what happens if 20 or 50 or 100 people or whatever show up, so that we can factor those learnings in early rather than later. All right, so does that make sense? But those won't be paid. You're almost 40. Is it too late to be adopted? Do you got a job, son? Hey, Ventali. What's up, King Bacon? Is somebody in here with me? Where do these... No. Where are these death shrouds coming from? So somebody asked about influences earlier. The UO death shroud is in game. Well, I mean, they didn't necessarily invent a death shroud, so don't come at us with a cease and desist. I wonder if I can engage this rotting skeleton before he depops for the night or for the day. Yes, I can. Draw strength. The sun sets fast. Yeah, it feels like it, right? The day-night cycle is like 40 minutes at the moment. I really do wish that we could kind of stretch out artificially dusk and dawn because they're so pretty. So maybe that'll be something that we can... Oh, that's a quest item that I don't need, so I'm just gonna write. Spell effects look pretty neat. Yeah, so they were looking even better, and then some stuff broke, as is bound to happen. So Zukin's probably this week or next going to be focusing on going back and doing a pass on the spell effects. The stuff that he started making, like this, I call them donuts. These deadly donuts here. They're pretty cool, so I'm looking forward to seeing the other ones. What's my favorite class to play right now? I've been playing Necro a fair bit. Oh shit, why haven't I speaking of which, I'm a Necro without a pet right now. What kind of silliness is that? Alright. I don't even have it mimmed. Mimming pet right now so you guys can hear the best summon sound ever. Locate corp, lift bones. What was I thinking? Not getting that done right away. All right, so here we go. Keep your ears open. I have a minion. Apparently, he was a gnome in a previous life. Come on, minion. It's time for you to do work. It gets dark at night? Yeah, and just think, it gets dark, but we're actually helped by the fact that the moons project light. If this was a forest or... I mean, it gets really dark in the dungeon. No skeleton laugh. Oops. See, there you go. There's a laugh for you. Bit more subtle. I've also got the volume turned down. Here, we'll do this. Just because I'm here to please. Nikintros, we had this conversation in our Slack the other day. That was apparently a misunderstanding. Because I watched the Zukin's VOD and I heard I was also not a fan of Clockwork content and was like, I don't think that's what I said. I don't like I don't like the idea of us having steampunk style Clockwork stuff or steampunk stuff all over the place. I think WoW's done a very good job of that. I like gears and You know, if there's a little steam here, a little steam there, fine. But I like green energy crystals and other mysterious sort of fantasy stuff. I think steampunk's pretty well covered. We don't need little steampunk planes and race cars, rocket cars. All that's already taken care of. But clockwork, I'm fine with. Each race will eventually have a city, yes. But given that we are a humble indie team, the winds of when that will be, we cannot say. King Bacon said, man, I have experience with software development in C++. I can't imagine what it takes to program something like this. Ali says, Ali said that I think we've only got maybe a few 100,000 lines of code, but he has he has written like 1.6 million so far. Something along those lines. There's a lot of refactoring. I might be speaking out of turn. Hop on the Discord. You can ask him what he said specifically. Need to get the timing on the anim and the sound. Dadvik, hello. Chaos Flux said 1.6 million just on what you have right now. 3 question marks. Let us know that he's serious about that question. I'm getting my ass handed to me right now. Pay better attention. Oh my gosh. Ooh, that was close. Like I said, I don't know. I could be over exaggerating. I tend to do that. Or maybe it was. On just what we have right now. Keith, does that sound right? Combat seems a little faster than EQ. It's a little more like WoW Classic. Combat feels a little bit fast at the moment, and not necessarily as lethal as it needs to be at the moment. But we were talking about that last night, and last I heard on the topic was I think we need to bump up level 1 mob HP. That's the kind of stuff that will go back and forth over the coming months and years. Will there be Santa hats in games? No. All right. So, for those of you that are like new here, you know what? I'm almost healed up. So, Let me go burn through my mana really fast, and then while I'm medding, I'll pop over to the editor and show you something. Really meant the sandwich analogy? Yeah, yeah. I mean, we'll see how it holds up and whether or not we change our views over time, but we mean a lot of what we say. That said, I mean, the time to kill. This is, oops. Let me see. Let me find another one. Even con. So the time to kill on that one didn't feel, actually, for being an even con, maybe it feels a little bit fast. So the time to kill is always going to be different than the like sort of, you know, clicks per minute or actions per minute or whatever that you've got to do in order to get that, like, either time to kill or optimal time to kill. Though I hope we don't start going too far down to like the trying to be ultra optimal. I see glowing eyes, so I lied. I'm gonna go grab him really quick. Was fast or even, but we're also very low. Yeah, even very low though. We wanted to still have the right feel. So we'll have to take a look. But that's one of the benefits that we'll have also from getting more people in and playtesting. But like that was super fast for blue. Snake egg. I'm gonna run this way blindly. And then we'll load up Night Harbor in the background. Do capitalized versus lowercase names have meanings? Yeah, it's the difference between like a proper noun and just sort of a generic something. It's interesting. Something about the build process has done some wacky things to some of the textures. Let me sell these bows really quick. And then these guys are just thrown in for the time being. Cool. Yep, I need 2 more of these in order to finish the quest. So, 2 more drops off a skeleton. Let me not waste this torch. So we've talked about having a system where essentially all of these guards will look similar to the patrolman there. It'll just be a guard. When you talk to the guard, if the guard tells you their name, then you'll see the name from that point forward over their head. So like Guard Akon or Guard Iam. If the Guard Hyam were to tell me to go over and speak with Guard Akon, then his name would change at that point as well. Because now I have the knowledge of what that guard's name is. So it's a, you know, it's a little kind of polished thing, a little flavory RPG type element. But one of the cool things that we've talked about in the past is it would also allow you to kind of recognize who you've dealt with in the past and identify like NPCs that you're being sent to. And so there may be NPCs in the world that always stay kind of generic, but then you also spot them as being kind of generic as opposed to now knowing Amir. Can you put an onion on my belt in game? It was the style at the time. Grandpa Simpson. Was that an actual thing from The Simpsons? Grandpa had an onion belt? Was it like a belt buckle? I don't know who that was, but they weren't here very long. Scene loader. Load scenes in editor. Yeah, it was. He was on some rambling talk. Phil said, I couldn't afford a white one, but I had a big yellow one. What? Okay, I'm gonna look away for a second while I open a new tab. YouTube Simpsons Onion Bell Grandpa. Okay, I'm gonna come back to that after the stream. So we started here earlier. So this area is a mix of two different factional themes, chaos. One is like when you see these structures up here, essentially the trade guild that runs pretty much all real trade on the continent. The Langsdorfian League, they're more kind of got a European flavor to them. And the rest of it is both regional and from the Bahara faction, which is, aside from Freeport, primarily a seafaring nomadic culture. And that's where a lot of the style that we see here comes from. The dome looked Arabic. Yeah, it's going to have an Arabic feel. You also gotta understand, like, two of our team members live in Bahrain, so we're able to get the real scoop. We're able to get Ali to look out his window and tell us what he sees. They raise trained attack boats. Oh yes, yeah. So the city that you're looking at right now, this is what it looks like at the moment in editor. You're not seeing all of it because it's fairly big. Who was just asking about the castle on the hill? Sorry, I missed that. I saw it and then I didn't respond to it. I'm scrolling up right now to see. Space Eater said, when are you showing us the green glowing castle in the distance? Oh, not for a while. Not for a while. Yeah, I said, used to live in the Middle East and would travel to Bahrain a lot. That's cool. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I would love to go check it out, especially during the winter when it's still warm there and cold here. Yeah. DTX Waldo said, I'm so excited to see where this game goes. Been going back to my roots playing some Baldur's Gate 1, Icewind, and /Icewind, and they just don't make games like they used to. Old man rant over. What are your favorite old man things though? When you were just playing Baldur's Gate, what were you doing in Baldur's Gate that you can't or typically don't do in a modern game? All right, so he's a yellow. Let's take him. Maybe not. All right, so one benefit there is for... Did I not have auto attack on the whole damn time? I was like, my pet's not hitting. All right, so let's try yellow again with me actually playing the game. Holy shit. Almost died. No one told me to hit auto attack. Have you gained so much faith in me in recent years? Cool, well, it's going to take a little while for me to get my health back. Fortress said, I will not be able to pronounce that name. I can read it. I just can't pronounce it. I want my RPG to spam, hey, it's me. I'm on. At me constantly. This is like that time when I jump back into EQ after 20 years. Dude, my inability to hit auto attack is legend. DTX Waldo said most modern games handhold a lot, and there isn't a lot of consequences for your action beyond some special cutscenes or whatever. I like more calculated approach to encounters, especially when it comes to using a larger party as well, not to mention slower pace with large world building. Fair. We don't have bandaging in yet, John. That I know of. I need to ask about that. Because I've got all these cloth scraps. Sometimes I feel like my torch is actually just kind of screwing my night vision. Like my idea, it's if you ever used a flashlight, you're like, shit, I actually see worse now because the light here in the forefront's kind of... Yeah, I mean, I think that's true. I'll save the torches for the dungeon. Fortune said she's the girl from Baldur's Gate. All I remember is in the first 10 minutes, she says it like 20 times. No life tap? I am currently primarily using my life tap. Thus my full health. I thought I saw a skeleton over here, but now it's daytime. Hey, Pattis. Since some of you are new, I'll risk it and I'll run to the zone line here and we'll go out into shaded dunes. Chaos not at this level. I think by level 4, the way we currently have stuff thrown in so that you can play around with your kit. By level 4, I've got everything I need to fear kite and got a few more options available. So I've zoned in and out of Wormsbane's tomb, and that worked. It's working. It's working. Don't worry, my pet not coming with me was not us trying to keep it that classic. It just still needs to be done. Oof. Something's going on with the nav mesh here. Looking dangerous. But at least if they're all piled up over there, then they're not running around getting after me. We can look at some bandits, but I'm not going to get near them. So there's some archaeologists over there. There's a camp of archaeologists during the day. At dusk, they get overrun by undead and eaten. So we can maybe go visit them during the day, but then we'll not want to be there when it's nighttime. There's bandits here. Or at least there should be bandits here. Okay, I see a bandit. I see another bandit. Okay. Alright. They're in there. Thanks, Chaos. Oh, the sun's going down. So we probably won't go too far into the zone. Go hang out with these guys a little bit. Man, I don't know that I'm gonna spend that much money. Who's doing the lore? I and so it's Hamad, Amy, me, Bunny and I were doing it for the first year. And then we got Hamad on board. Hamad's been super tied up with real life stuff, but it's cool. We still get some sessions in and work on things here and there. Lately, at least, we've been able to, so that's good. And then we've got essentially, I don't know if you're familiar with Confluence, but it's essentially a, you know, corporate software style wiki that we've got everything in. Ah, see? I answered your question before you asked it. Yeah, so it's like a full big old wiki. Viable now? It's not available. No, not viewable. No, it's one of the few things we actually don't really share. So you'll start to see a little bit of lore leak out in some little ways, thanks to the wonderful idea from Keith. So you'll start to see some leak out if you're very observant when we're playing. And then most of the lore is meant to just be discovered in game. Question about fishing being fixed. I don't know. It's a good question. Oh man, 8BI7. Usually you guys at least make up like a cool name or whatever. It feels like a very low effort bot, you know what I mean? Sometimes when you guys come in, you got like I've never met you before, you come in with like a lot of personality and energy and you're like, hey, what's going on? And blah, 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 and doing a bunch of stuff. I'm like, I wonder if this is one of those new high-tech bots. The high-effort, high-energy bots. Nope, it just winds up being some cool people. Here, I don't... You know what? I'm not going to spend my money. I need to. I'll probably remake this tune anyway. Bye. Cool. Where did my fishing pole go? What? Inventory is full. Alright. Let's do this again. That was pretty much all of my money. Grr. Alright, so I have a pole. Just, you know, you'll have to imagine that I have a pole. But I don't have the fishing skill. I was asking Nick about this before because I was confused actually on how we're doling out skills like fishing and mining. Because the reason why I asked was there's a trainer in town, but yeah, so it's not here either. Huh. I feel like fishing is something you can just pick up by having a rod. It may actually, that might be the intent, Toot Master. Makes sense that you can't fish. It doesn't make sense that you can't fish unless you talk to a guy first. Well, if you're just kind of a numbskull and you don't know how to like bait the hook and how to cast and all that. So it's stuff like this where we look at it and it's like, man, that just looks badass. That makes us willing to ignore the fact that this water doesn't match this sand, right? All right, let's see if we can make it back towards the city so you can see the illuminated facade of the city, which is very pretty. Bots feel welcome into the Loving Robot channel. That just made me sad. DDJ. Now I feel so bad. They're all like, hey, our friend. The bots come in here. They actually do want me to be successful. Like, we're here to help a fellow robot. You get a discount even. And then I ban them. Oh man, I feel so bad. Will there be deities? I saw ditties and I was like, Diddy? Isn't that like a song? Deities, and will you be able to choose them character select? So there will be some available to you when you make your character. You can actually change religion as you play. You can worship as you choose. So that's something that we'll be working on as well. We've got some priests and stuff in game, but we haven't done anything with religion yet. Think of it more like a faction. I hope we get Daggerfall Witch Covens you can find in the woods and talk to the month deity. Smaller religions, weird cults, all that type of stuff for sure. We've got to figure out how to execute on it well and do it justice, but definitely want to play around with a lot of stuff like that. Do you plan on the changing of religion be something you have to work for and not just flip-flop whenever you want? Yeah, you will actually have to work for it. That's the fun of it, right? Like, just having a bunch of random religions and stuff wasn't really the idea. It's more of having the ability for you to... Having the ability for you to, you know... I almost just said it bluntly. Give you something new to grind for and tithe for and etc. Joan Skrillicog. I love your name. I am glad that you are here. Do we plan on having an overarching... man, why do I stream? I'm so bad at talking. Do we plan on having an overarching narrative within the world lore? We're going to have... So, we have an understanding of the world. We have an understanding of the world's history. We'll continue to develop that understanding, of course. There will be characters with different motivations, naturally, because it is a world. I want your stuff, and then I'm going to flee. But we're not... It's more about... It's more about building a sense of place and building a place for you guys to be able to have your own experiences and develop your stories. It's not about pulling you through some grand narrative. It's not a quest-driven game. It's not a highly narrative-driven game. The world will progress. Some characters and places will progress or develop. But it's really meant to be more about establishing a world than it is about telling a specific story. And the more of that we can deliver to you through just like various mechanisms of doing and seeing and not necessarily just like being told. Through the characters that you meet and items that you find and the rares that exist and the places that you go and the things that people say when you kill them or when they attack you or the little quests that you're put on. All of that stuff. Have it all come together to really kind of build the world for you. Waldo said, word, I don't remember a daggum quest / lore from EQ1, but I can tell you about some cool experiences I had with other players. Yep. Yep. You know, like sitting out there on those docks. Imagine we're grouped together, hanging out, and we're just like farming crocodiles or whatever, and then we see that sunrise or sunset for the first time. That's a moment. That creates memories, which is half of our name. Old Skrully Cog said gnome power. Right on. Skrully Cog. Yeah, that's more the vibe that we're going for. we're definitely more chill than spammy. Can't wait to get the effects fixed. I like the direction. Look at me not auto-attacking again. I'm gonna go put my fishing pole in the bank until I can figure out how the hell to use it. Fortress said, even something as simple as that island between Kinos and Eridan has immense environmental storytelling. They did such a fantastic job of having like little bits everywhere that just made you imagine a bigger world. That game, EverQuest, the moment I installed and played it, it just broke my brain. I knew from the moment that I first started playing that I was going to move to California and be a part of the team. I wasn't quite sure how, but I pretty quickly went straight into like quest mode. I forgot what the cheapest bag is. If I hadn't bought that fishing pole, I could probably afford a bag right now. Squirrely Cog, thank you for that. Did I actually find a dagger? Okay, it's 323. Alright, so it's Bender. Chaos, we can just deliver the experience that we can deliver. Nothing's ever going to replace your first love, but if we can provide a great new love that tickles some of the same funny bones, then awesome. Well, thank you for that. You guys are very kind. DDJ said, I met my wife on EQ, so it'll always be held in high regard to me as well. Nice. I have to bring her into check us out once it's available. Awesome. That's what we like to hear. She's gonna play. No choice. Sorry, darling. You will be hanging out with us. What does she like to play? What was she playing when you guys met? Druid? Right on. Holy Toast, thank you for the follow. I think we need to up our fall damage. Yep. When we start working on doing more work on the character controller, we'll take care of that. She's usually a healer. She's way better at video games than me. Right on. So, Hell's Ridge said, I think the passion being poured into it and lack of corporate BS staying in a way will go a long way in creating something enjoyable and memorable on its own. Burly Cog said, my friend and I were already discussing which of our EQ duos we'd want to recreate first in M&M, whether Warrior Cleric, Double Mages, but definitely Gnomes. That's exciting. Cass says, I think their biggest hurdle will be the amount of content available. Yeah, well, that's always a challenge. Will be especially a challenge for a tiny team. So we'll figure out how we address that. Gomir says, is Sideways Run... Curious if Sideways Run is a tad bit faster for escaping. It is. So, strafe running. Which, one of our team members even has a character named strafe running. So, there's no way that we're going to fix that. Dress it with a little cash? Well, cash can only move things so fast, but yeah. I'm gonna address it with maybe a little bit of cash, and maybe a little bit of community patience, depending on how things go. We wanna buy enough faith and goodwill with what we put together, that when we tell people, you know, we've got this plan or that plan, or we need you to help us by being patient or whatever, then hopefully the fact that we are showing you everything as we go, we'll be, you know, posting information on kind of how we've spent, what money we've spent, how we've spent it to date, so you kind of get an understanding of what that looked like. And all of that. Basically, we'll be as open as we possibly can be, except for with like lore. Even right now, as I'm working, there's a lot of times that more and more as I'm in here, I realize, like, when I'm on stream, you see a lot of the stuff that's being worked on. And so then off stream, I will sneak in a little quest here or little interaction or whatever. So we'll start doing more and more of that, so that not everything is spoiled, even in the proof of concept for y'all. And I mean, we've got a lot of space to fill. But, you know, over time, basically, just want you guys to be as sort of knowledgeable of our approach in the process so far as possible, so that you understand our motivations, and you hopefully respect what we've been able to do with a fairly small team. I think I've said before, we've, you know, to date, because everybody's been volunteering their time, our operating expenses are basically, you know, some recurring contract or recurring like software fees and things like that. So in the last 2 years and change, we've spent about 40 grand, and it's helping us understand, like, if we did have a chunk of money later, the best way for us to kind of maximize that, hopefully primarily in just developing content. So more of the same once we get what we have to a point where it feels really, really good. So, but again, we absolutely could not have gotten as far as we have so far without the team being really incredible and sacrificing their time. We are not selling access, Hell's Ridge. But like I said, we really do want to get you guys in as soon as possible. So today's stream has been for the bulk of it. Usually I'm playing in the editor. I've got that up back here. Today has been in our Monsters and Memories client that we will be hopefully soon making available for a small number of people to help us test it. And then that's what we'll be basically working towards a bigger public play tests early next year, hopefully, so that we can see what breaks when all of you come in. Hey Isan, what's up, dude? City seems kind of huge. Is it going to be the very main starting point? It is for proof of concept. And then over time, we're going to expand the world. And then you'll see more and more of the racial cities. Let's see. But the goal is for these cities to actually be part of your gameplay experience for years and years, not just a place you start and then leave. It's funny, we've had problems with invisible NPCs in the past. I looked and saw the snake's name and didn't see the snake, and I was like, oh no, it's happening. And then I remembered that snakes are actually really close to the ground. Can you get married in game? Yeah, sure. Matter of fact, I can put some wedding rings on the jewelry vendor. Here. I'll write it down for you. Wedding rings. Jeweler. We've already got some jewelers in. And onion belts? That may be too referential. Yeah, Gary just said /surname is in, so you're set. See? We've got you covered. We've got at least one person covered then. J Bombo. J Bombo. Bombo da ba 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 bum. Any thoughts on crafting? Cooking meat you collect? And maybe making things with item drops? So we've got like a phase 1 style crafting that we put in. We're going to go through crafting in more detail with the team later. But for now, you can do a little bit of crafting in here to kind of keep you busy and give you a little taste early on. And then we're going to be discussing and going through what we want the actual sort of final version of crafting to look like. Final in air quotes. Because we've got a lot of people on the team that are very passionate about crafting. Ollie is very passionate about crafting, being the Ultima Online Star Wars Galaxy nerd that he is. We got Luna is very passionate about crafting. Nick's been the one putting in the current crafting. I've got thoughts on crafting. Who is this? Crafting works better in Sandbox, though. Well, I mean, it's the bulk of what's going on in Sandbox. But it can work fine in adventure games. But when the bulk of your content is just player generated, then yeah, it definitely works better. It's HR, run. How do we stab HR? I will duel you. Are there still long-term plans for controller support? I think it was mentioned that Nick likes the idea. Yeah, I mean, Ollie's currently trying to get the game to be able to run on whatever sort of handheld device that he's got. Steam Deck looking thing. He got it. He got the game installed on like this Fisher Price looking laptop. Yeah, I don't know if it was an actual Steam Deck though. But he got it running on this like tiny little laptop with no video card, and it was getting like 15 frames a second before it crashed. But that's pre-optimization. We'll see what happens. But in terms of just controller support, yeah, keep bringing it up. I mean, our focus is and will remain PC, mouse, and keyboard, but if there are easy wins that make it more accessible for some people, awesome. How about your fridge? I guess it depends on how expensive your fridge is. Mantis said, that's what I liked so much about Eco A, is it was casual and also deep. You could hop in and do some stuff in a decent amount of time, and some other harder, longer to do things. The casual and also deep play mix. I get what you mean. Yeah, so again, the more we can reinforce the sense of place and provide an environment in which people that are fairly casual, but still willing to play in a, still willing to play in an environment where there is a bit more challenge and consequence. I think it's important to be able to get that critical mass of people that we need milling about. Is my... I don't even have a stack at the moment. Cool. Alright, let me go sell then. I don't know what HR is doing. Oof. I think there may be... Then again, I've got a bunch of crap open in the background, but I think there may be a little memory leak that we need to track down. Because I have noticed that my frame rate's dipped a bit since we first started playing 3 hours ago. But that is sort of the fun of making game. Tracking stuff down. Monsters and memory leaks. Oh shit, John. We have better be... We really actually... I need to tell Ollie that, because... If we don't keep a handle on them, that would be a hilarious, also very sad name for you guys to give us. Monsters and memory leak. Ouch. Keith, Gary, John, if you're still in here, you've heard it. This is that ball's in your court. That meme would definitely stick. Are you going to do your own website, or you want to partner with Daybreak or some platform so you can some more can find it or stumble into it? We are just going to build a little army out of all of you. Here is our website, so you can find it there. Here's our YouTube. That's also used for discoverability. Notice that everything is perfectly flat. Is that on purpose or a technical limitation? Mostly on purpose. We're big fans of chunky. Yep. We're big fans of chunky and flat. It doesn't always have to be 90 degrees, but it's cooler when it is. All right. Do I have anything else in here? Oh man, I should have sold them rat ears while I was over there. Even our hills are chunky and flat. BDC Retro. Hey Radigar. In a slightly more, in rereading your question. So there, you know, not everything's perfectly flat, right? There we got some little chunky bumps. Who is this? Is this... I'm assuming this is... Damn it. My torch is dead. I'm assuming this isn't Gary, Keith, or John. HR, you're creeping me out, whoever you are. Get away. Now I know it's one of you. Probably just trying to follow me around and be a creep. Don't play games with me, HR. There's a reason why we don't have you in our company. Will names only be allowed a capital letter at the start, or will they be sprinkled in? That's a good question. Some fantasy accent marks and stuff. A good question. No good answer for you at the moment. Fight him. Really? Alright. Squirrely said, I wrote a question, but it's way too long, so I'm rewriting it. Any thoughts on overpopulation in regards to there potentially not being enough mobs for everyone? World dungeons do instancing, or would dungeons do instancing, or would there just be a lot of dungeons so people aren't at just SOL? I think it's going to be a mix of us having a bit more variety in places for you to go for your different needs, whether that be experiencing or farming, having certain key items be available in a couple different forms, you know, leveraging cosmetic variation on that front as well, so that you're not all just sitting at that one camp. So it's going to be a mix of that, but then also there's going to be a bit of you know, bit of conflict. So the social friction isn't always pleasant friction, but it is necessary. What class have I been playing today? I am playing a necromancer again. A lot of times if I'm testing, I'll just hop onto the same class just so I can kind of gauge the feel from previous time. Squirrely, I'm glad you're here and that you're asking those questions. Oh crap, I just looked, it's 5 o'clock. I tell you what, I'm gonna log out of here and I'm going to, yeah, be sure to join the Discord. Let me hop into the editor. Server announcement. Sean, please report to the HR office. Uh-oh. What two classes do I think will be an unexpectedly powerful combo? Inquisitor and anybody. Or whatever Nick is playing the most. Not that he would ever make any of his favorite classes OP, but... So, I'm going to move into the editor really quick. Yeah. No, I'm going to close it. I'm hard closing it. I think we need to look at that. Here's our patcher and launcher. Let me shut that down. Let me come over here really fast. Boom. And let me go to zone. Don't save. So I'll just show you something really quick. And then because I you know, since I was playing normally, I wasn't able to cheat and show you some other stuff on there. See if you can look at a couple things real fast. Well, actually, I might have been able to do it just through there. May have been quicker. We'll see. We'll see how quickly this pops up. Thanks, Squirrely. You've got to come back and watch more streams just because I like seeing your name so much. Yeah, we're working on MMO. All right, so I don't know why I don't have a shirt on. Don't judge me. Just show off a couple tiny things real quick. I really like that we've got our characters showing wearing their actual stuff now in character select. Great job on that. I think that was Keith. But look at the I really love just, you know, essentially just we're trying to find a balance of keeping it very old school looking, while still incorporating little bits of modern stuff to add a little bit of, you know, to it. Those of you that weren't here at the beginning of the stream, again, what you're seeing right now in terms of like texture, we've been looking at why stuff outside of the engine wasn't looking exactly like it should inside the engine. So that's what it currently looks like in game. And this is the sort of the version that Goblin did when he first got on the team. And so we were able to get this face on a model in game and get it. It looked pretty close to this. So now we're playing around with some iteration here. But the goal right now is to get our textures on the characters as detailed as what you're seeing here for the next iteration, as opposed to what you're seeing here, what you're seeing here. So yeah, anyways, I just wanted to point that out while we're looking at the little flowy bits. Nope. And you guys didn't see, I had my backpack. Oh, my hair's poking through my helmet. Gotta be fixed. Backpack, belt pouches, you guys didn't see on that last tune. Oh, here's my little tattered cape. So, figured I'd wrap things up by showing you a little bit of some stuff that usually you would see if you're watching some of the other streams, but because I was actually being forced to not cheat, you didn't see today, so. All right. That is it for today. I will be back Thursday, and then we'll be driving to Cologne for Christmas. Are we using Fishnet for networking, Mirror, or self-made? We're using LightNet Lib, and a lot of self-adjusted stuff. Be sure to join our Discord if you like what you see. If you didn't see enough, check out our website. If you do like what you see, join our mailing list. It's a metric that we like to track. We're at like just over 2,300 people. So it gives us a little more confidence when we see those numbers go up. If you check out our stuff on YouTube, we post our VODs there. I've gotten better about that recently. So I'll get this week's up over the holidays as well. And then yeah, if you watch the VODs, you enjoy the VODs, hit subscribe. Again, it's another metric for us. It costs you nothing. So I look like a sushi chef. Oh, because of my invisible hat. All right. It's not a bad thing. All right. So yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it for today. I will be back on Thursday. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Those of you that are working today as your last day before vacation, I hope the rest of your day is very quiet and chill, and you make it into vacation smoothly. And then I'll see you again on Thursday before Christmas and time off. So that will be awesome. Redra, thank you for the follow. Let me bring up screen so I can see myself. I can see you. Perfect. Waldo, you are very welcome. John, you're welcome. See you. Thadvec, you're very welcome. See you. BDC Retro, welcome as always, buddy. J Bombo, see you. See you Thursday. Ishiwatari, tschüss. Hab einen schönen Tag. Bis Donnerstag vielleicht. Albius, see you. See you, Keith. Chaz Solo, see you on Thursday. Mankubai, thank you for the follow. Mantis, goodbye. Thank you for all the good questions. See you, Squirrely. Belfaster, see you. Radigar, see you on Thursday. Who else we got? Anybody? Anybody? All right. Well, then on that note, I am out of here. Justin Beard, Thursday, buddy. And DDJ, see you. All right. We're out of here.
Goodbye, y'all. I will see you Thursday.